Hello!
Hello! So, welcome back to Tank Talks, and here we're talking about this
Filtration.
filtration in general.
So today we are on the first stage of filtration, which is mechanical filtration. So what's this you're holding now?
This inappropriately size looking thing is a filter sock. So most of you will be used to it looking like this with like a ring, and you have a couple of these, and the return will drop the water in, and it will kind of clog up, right?
Yeah, so there's a holder where you slot the thing, the ring sits in it, and the water just goes in.
So this is from your tank. Previously, you don't use this anymore. You mentioned.
Yeah.
So why did you stop using it?
So I'm actually using filter wool as the first stage. Then I actually made some slots for filter socks, but I found that it's unnecessary after a while because the filter wool catches everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while cheap, it's not necessarily any cheaper or easier than this in general. It's the same thing. It just lies there. I mean, not like this. It lies like this, right?
So this is the filter wool that I use. It's just a sheet. Then the water just goes onto it. Then it just catches the gunk.
And it drains down.
Yeah. So the convenient thing that I discovered was this brand of filter wool is exactly the width of the sum compartment for the filter. So I just fold this and then cut it and then just.
Yeah, I have to cut and then I got to cut and then
So basically, I just divide it like that and then just slot it in.
That's smart.
Yeah, but luckily there was this size.
Yeah, so I mean there are a lot of different brands lah. I mean there's one that I'm using. It's like apparently German made. It's called Polyfill or something.
This is a cheap one, so
it functions the same. I change it out every other day anyway.
Yeah. Then this is another kind of filter. This is a micron filter. So this is a very interesting thing. It goes in a cartridge that is about this high. So the water goes in through the middle and then it comes out the side. No, it comes in from the side, then comes out the middle. So this one can filter everything. This filters out diatoms.
Yeah.
I think it can filter out some parasites also.
Yeah, so some cryptocarriers like egg and stuff like that, they suggest that you kind of put this on. I don't think it's an entirely foolproof way, but if it can filter out diatoms and other stuff.
It does filter the diatoms. When you have a diatom bloom, you can use this to clear it up, but this thing will clog up in maybe 2 to 3 days, then you gotta change it.
So what if you don't have a bloom? What if it's like a regular, like, I'm not using it symptomatically, I'm using it preventatively? How long do you think it'll last?
Maybe a few days. Because
Really,
this thing is so fine that it's
catches everything.
So maybe even the food and all the little organisms.
But can you use it like, okay, so you say it all goes through this thing, right? Can you plumb it in such a way where it catches like maybe some of it and some of it runs through the thing?
Yeah, so this is plumb where some of it goes through because the flow rate can't take the whole thing.
That's crazy. Yeah. I think 100% through this thing is gone in a couple of days. So if you split it up, as it catches whatever it can catch, but the main flow is going through, maybe you can use it supplementarily.
I think days.
As a main source, I think.
Not a main source, definitely not. So this is when you have an issue, you want to filter out something in the tank. Yeah, then it catches everything.
Yeah, I think this goes for like most of the, is why you said mechanical filtration. For some people like, no, what about biological? Yeah, but biological is like all the time, right? The rocks and the thing. But when you're talking about your return pump, because the return pump is returning at your overflow, it's returning all the dirtiest water, or at least the water is coming out of the tank. And we want to rid that of most of it before it gets to the other bits of filtration. And then so the rest of your filter doesn't get gunk and slime in it.
So if we can remove as much solids as possible, it doesn't become nitrates and chemicals.
Yeah.
So that's the best.
Yeah. And once you've had like I have like slime and stuff, we're getting into your other reactors and pumps, man, it's a nightmare. So I can understand why people go kind of heavy on mechanical filtration. I do too. I have a large skimmer and a large the fleece roller, but this was something else I was looking at. I was like, man, my sump is like no space for this anymore.
So if you want this kind of stuff, you got to plan for it before making the tank.
Yeah, I mean,
but this is not necessary. This was just some interesting thing that I bought because I thought it was cool.
Yeah, but what kind of tech heads on this kind of equipment nerds, I guess. Yeah. So this kind of thing is it's interesting to us. How if I can do it all up front, I'll just do it all up front. Like why bother? Once again, not necessary. Not necessary. It is this.
This is needed. This is
needed. I would say.
This is absolutely necessary.
Some form of wool.
Yeah, this is not needed.
Some
don't
form.
Use this.
My Nano didn't have it for a while. I was like, you know what, screw this. And I realized you can't
have
there's
no
so
filtration.
much particulate in the water.
I mean, even if you put a sponge, the black porous sponge, that catches quite a bit also. So when you wash it,
that's why I'm putting white So I know, okay, it's brown, I cannot take it, I have to remove it. Because it's black, it's like, oh, I can't tell, right? I don't deal with it. But now, just one day, and then I feed quite sparsely, and then I was like, wow, it's already brown. And I'm like, gotta go. And then it's easy, you just take it out, grab a bunch. I have one that's like, I don't have to cut, I can kind of like, it's like cotton candy, I can kind of like...
But that one is like a floss, but that one clogs up really quickly also.
Yeah, but the little nano compartments, I just go to shove it a little bit, and I can take out every day. So that's not too bad. And it's cost effective. It's quick. Like, look at this. This entire bag is like $5 sink. If you use this in your 10, 20 gallon nano, it's going to last you for a long time. So
even I don't use so much of it. I use half of it. It lasts me like usually 1 to 2 weeks. So it's still quite economical.
Yeah. So you probably, we talked about this in another video.
Yeah.
And that's like $500. So that's like 100 bags of this. So if I use that, let's say I use a roll a week, that's a lot, right? So that's still what?
But you may use more of this also, because since you use a roll of that a week.
That's true.
So you may need to end up changing this maybe a few times a week, I don't know.
No, but I talk about the upfront cost, right? Just the machine itself is $540. It's like 54 times of this, right? So that's like, 100 weeks? It's like 2 years. So you do the math and figure out what's best for you. But this probably needs more attention, because if you use it as a primary thing and it clogs and it starts to overflow, then you have a problem.
If it overflows a little bit and it's designed for it, it's fine because it doesn't harm anything. But if it clogs up and floods your living room, then that's
I had a tank last time where this was the end all be all. So if this was clogged, the sump kind of ended here. It was very poorly designed, and I didn't know any better. The water would flow out, and that's it.
So even for this filter sock, right? This is an interesting thing where there's actually another sock that it's porous. It's like a nylon mesh. Then you put this into the sock. So this does the filtration.
Oh, so the other is like a secondary
so it's just like
unit
a
in the holder
for this. So you just take this and dump it. The other type of sock you gotta wash.
Yes.
You know the other one, the micron one, is like a cloth or something. Then you gotta wash that.
And it still looks brown after that.
Yeah, and that one's a hassle to wash because it's very stiff. You got to invert it and wash it, and it's always not clean after washing.
People always put it in the washing machine. I used to hear they put in the washing machine, they dry it, they bleach it or whatever. Like, bleach? I don't want to.
Then after that, once you're done with it, right, all the washing has damaged it. It doesn't filter as well.
Yeah.
So you end up changing
honestly,
it.
if I were on a budget, I would go with something like this. I think it's whatever brand you go with. I don't think we're gonna be that pedantic.
There are fancy ones also that claim to absorb whatever phosphates and things like that.
But the basic functionality we want out of this is to get rid of large pieces of stuff coming through. I think as long as it fulfills that, everything else is secondary. I don't know how we can prove whether it absorbs phosphates or not. Like, that's a bit much.
Yeah. Another thing about filtration is people like to talk about carbon. So carbon it's something that absorbs. I wouldn't say it's a filter. It absorbs things, so you got to take it out and throw it away also.
Yes. So it can be spent.
Yeah.
So it's same with like the phosphate. It's a binding thing, right? So like if you put in an amount of carbon, usually people use it for water clarity. By water clarity, it means that it's usually the yellow tannins that come out from stuff, and then the carbon will absorb it. It will make the water. It polishes the water, as they like to say. But it also absorbs toxins and some stuff. So for example, like soft corals, when they do warfare, they release all that toxins. So apparently this helps to bind it.
But this is not absolutely necessary. A lot of people say that you should have carbon as another form of like chemical filtration, right? I would say I use it for problems rather than all the time.
I use it all the time, actually. Yeah. I use it mainly for a bit more water clarity, as well as that I kill a lot of softies, so I don't know what the hell can go wrong.
Okay.
So I just kind of throw a bag in there, and I change it every 2 to 3 weeks. So the danger is like same with the raw force or PO, whatever PO4 binding thing you use. You don't know when it's spent unless
but
you're
when it's spent, it's okay.
It
doesn't leach out again, so that's okay.
Correct. But then it's also not.
I mean, it's useless. Just wasting the space inside.
So I kind of just change this and the raw force every 2 weeks because I don't know. I don't want to do guesswork, right? I don't want there to be a lapse in efficiency, because if there's a half-life to the thing, I want it to always be operating at peak. So every 2-3 weeks, 2 weeks I probably change out. Same with my stuff in the PO4 reactor.
So this is not absolutely necessary, good to have, but you don't need to run it every
I think
day.
in terms of cost to effort and value ratio, is great. It's low cost, low effort, and you don't pay like this is like 28 Sing, less than $20 US.
This is
and again, maybe last
Expensive
this
carbon,
tank.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fancy, expensive carbon. You know, I use the Red Sea one just because it's the most available one I have for me.
You can buy buckets of them.
Yeah,
Also.
and it works. I would say though to buy probably higher quality carbon.
Yeah, definitely with less dust if possible.
Yes, because the fines, like
Yeah.
you see some tanks have HLE and some stuff like that, it can affect the health of the fish. So you might want to be more picky about carbon. It's already not that expensive an item. I wouldn't try to stinge on carbon at least. So that's carbon. I personally use it all the time because it's cheap, low effort, low cost, low maintenance. So that's why I use it all the time.
And if you buy some carbon, please wash the carbon before using,
Yes.
because your tank will be.
But by wash, he
Dusty.
doesn't mean scrub though. Like you
Yeah,
just
you
have to
gotta-
hold it
yeah.
under running water, and then you will see
Clean
that.
water.
Yeah, you RODI water.
Yeah,
So
RODI
the
water.
water when it goes down, you can see it's black because all the fines
Yeah.
are washing out, and then it'll be clear. Once it runs clear,
Yeah.
kind of move it around. Don't scrunch it up.
If you
Then you
scrunch it
cause
up,
more
it's-
fines.
yeah.
It doesn't make sense. So you just run it through, then you put it in.
Yeah,
in
or
the tank.
the fines will get into your sum, and your
Yeah.
sum will be like black.
Yeah, that's what
That's
happened to
not a
mine.
good thing.
Yeah, as
And
much
it's
as
not
you
good
wash
for
it.
your fish, because the fines are really quite bad for the fish.
Yeah. Also, if your water plowing through it is too violent,
Yeah.
it can pulverize some of it.
Yeah.
And it will also leak fine. So kind of want to change it before it gets that brittle. And yeah, usually you want to put in a high flow part of the sump as well. So that water runs through it. The more water runs through it, the more it does its job until it's spent. And then you change it. Also put in a media bag, of course.
You can use media bag, or you can use a reactor, which is slightly more costly, but you can load a lot inside. Then maybe you change it once a month,
Yeah.
once every 2 months.
It's just more real estate in the sump that
Yeah.
you probably don't have. If I had to choose between putting this or PO4 thing in the reactor, I would put PO4
You know
media.
you can mix it, right?
I've heard that. I've
Yeah,
never
you can
tried.
you can mix it and then just put it in the reactor. You can try.
I just have mine in my bag.
Yeah.
It's in a bag in one of the baffles, so as it gets pretty high water, it's fine.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's it for basic filtration. So
I
don't
think-
skimp on this, because
Yeah.
this is the basic.
I just think like, there are some things you can save money on, some things you shouldn't. Like, don't try to do it without some sort of rule. I
Yeah.
think.
So your mechanical filtration is really the basic.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, then you're just gonna give more
Yeah.
problems down the line.
There's a reason why we kind of use all forms of filtration, right?
Yeah.
Like mechanical, bio, chemistry. Is that if one fails or one has a problem, and the one that has a lot of problems usually is the bio one that's a bit unstable. When you
Yeah.
add stuff or stuff die.
But by each stage, they address different issues. They remove different things.
Correct.
So this removes the bulk of the uneaten food, the poop,
Yeah.
whatever that's in the tank. So you want to remove it before it decomposes. Then you won't have such an issue with your biofiltration and everything down the line.
It lightens the load
Yeah.
on the other bits of filtration, so that if one fails or isn't working optimally, you have other legs to run on. And if you think your tank is too clean and it's fine, you can put less. Maybe put none for a day. That's fine. But just think about why you're doing
If your
some
tank is
things
too
and
clean,
not things.
add more fish.
True. Unless there's no space, then please don't have more fish. Feed more. So, So, hope this helped. We're going to go through more. I think in the future we'll talk about like protein skimmers,
Yeah.
and we'll talk about our systems and what other people use,
Yep.
and work our way maybe to biofiltration at some point. I think that's interesting because there's refugiums,
Yeah,
there's like algae
bio
reactors,
blocks.
there's bioblocks, there's all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Together we probably use like a whole bunch of different
I
ones
think
already.
we've
in our
used
tank.
everything
Yeah.
in the market before.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that LG reactor that I just
Yeah.
bought. Then take a Tunzi LG reactor. But anyway, this is Tank Talk. So like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think, what you use, and let us know if we're wrong, because we always want to learn. So
Yeah. Bye.